The war between the Starks and Lannisters in Game of Thrones is one of the most pivotal events in determining the fate of Westeros. But it was inspired by a real historical conflict. From the houses of Lancaster and York to the Mongol hordes, discover their shocking real-world origins. Truth is often stranger than fiction. The war between the Starks and Lannisters in Game of Thrones is one of the most important events that determines the fate of Westeros, but it was inspired by a real historical conflict. The War of the Roses was a brutal civil war between the houses of Lancaster and York in 15th century England. The Lancasters, represented by red roses, were ambitious and power-driven, like the Lannisters, while the Yorks, represented by white roses, were honorable, like the Starks. Both houses fought for the throne of England, just like in Westeros. One of the most shocking moments on Game of Thrones was the Red Wedding, but did you know that a similar event took place in Scotland? In 1440, the King of Scots Chamberlains invited the young leaders of the House of Douglas to a banquet at Edinburgh Castle. But in the middle of the meal, a black bull's head was placed on the table, a sign of death. Shortly thereafter, the Douglas brothers were arrested and summarily executed, an event that became known as the Black Dinner and inspired George J.J. Martin to create the Red Wedding scene. Fearless warriors, expert horsemen, and ruthless conquerors, sound familiar? The Dothraki are Game of Thrones' nod to the Mongol Empire. Genghis Khan's Mongol armies, like Khal Drogo's, were nomadic and led by warrior discipline. Martin used the Mongol lifestyle and war tactics to design the Dothraki. The massive wall rising in the north of Westeros is actually based on a real historical structure, Hadrian's Wall. In 122 AD, the Romans built Hadrian's Wall to protect Britain from barbarians to the north, and the Night's Watch similarly stood guard over dangers beyond the wall in Westeros. Here are the real historical roots of Game of Thrones. What other historical events do you think might have inspired Westeros? If you want to continue making videos like this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. We will continue to discover the secrets of Westeros. Also, let us know in the comments which historical event you think Game of Thrones was most inspired by. Don't forget to share your favorite Game of Thrones scene in the comments. Remember, winter is coming, and so are new videos.